Hi friends, welcome to this live stream. So basically in this live stream we will be looking at a complete project inside Node.js Express. So it will be a user CRUD kind of an application where you can create records, display them inside the table. We have also delete button, update button as well. And we will be building it inside the Express, and we will be storing all these details inside our PostgreSQL database. So this is the PG admin where you can manage your databases and create tables. So you will basically see there is a single record present out there. We have three columns out there. ID is the primary key, then name, age, country. So this is our PostgreSQL database, and we are managing it using Prisma. Prisma is kind of a ORM, object relational mapper, which allows you to interact with multiple databases, MySQL, PostgreSQL, all such popular ones. So we are using Prisma for this purpose. So first of all, let me show you the functionality of the application. If I enter the name, age, country, click on add user, you will see the user will be added and instantly the UI will be refreshed. And we also have the delete button. If I click the delete button, it will make a post request and it will delete the record. And if I refresh now, you will basically, I can refresh this table. Once again, query the database. So only one record is present. So if I add one more record, two records are present. So again, if I query it, so now you will see two records are present right here. So Prisma also offers, if you just execute this command npx Prisma Studio. So Prisma also has this server which will listen on localhost 555, and you will basically see all the models which are sample table is my only table available. If I click this, you will basically see these two records are present right here, name, age, country, and we can even add a record here, give it a name and give it age, give it a country, save changes. So you can basically add records right here also. So Prisma, it's a functionality of it. It offers you to add records right here. So in this you can save changes. So you can add this, you can create a table, open a model, anything you can do it. So it is called as Prisma Studio. It is basically part of Prisma library, and it is, you can see localhost 555. So I can now start my application once again. So if I refresh now, for 4 entries will be there, you will see that. So we are basically fetching this database, fetching the details here inside PostgreSQL and displaying it inside the table. So if I basically say update, so automatically pre-filled details will be there. I will be able to change the name. Let's suppose I change it to this. Click on update user. So you will basically see the details have been changed. So we have delete option. You can add the user, update the user. So we'll look at this application, how to make this application from scratch inside Prisma in order to make the migrations, in order to make the models and then manage the database, and it makes it very much easy. So if you want the full source code, guys, of this application, you can basically go to the description of the video and basically purchase the full source code from PayPal in United States dollar or in Stripe in Indian rupees. So both the payment links are given in the description of the video. So now let's get started by building this application. So let me just stop this for now. I will basically make a new, let me call this as Node Prisma CRUD project. I will cd into this and open it inside Visual Studio Code text editor. So the very first thing we need to do, guys, here we need to actually create the package.json file, which will amt package.json file, npm init-y, and now we just need to install the modules. So Express will be the backend server and EJS will be the template engine where we will be displaying our details. So simply first of all install this, install these two modules, and now we will actually install the Prisma library, Prisma, Prisma, and we need to install it as a dev dependency -- save dev. So Prisma is the base library, and it also offers a CLI version of it also. So we can even install that also as a dev dependency. Now the command is very simple, npm I Prisma, Prisma, and Then we also need to install its client as well, Prisma underscore Prisma slash client dash dash save dash dash dev. So it will be saved inside dev dependency. So simply install this also. So if you basically check inside your package.json file, you will basically find out two dependencies added in the dev dependency section. So you can see that. So these are only there for the development purpose, and this is our dependencies, main dependencies, EJS and Express. So if you visit Prisma, guys, basically Prisma is kind of a object relational mapper, ORM, for Node.js and TypeScript applications, and it's an open source way to interact with your databases. You no longer need to write your SQL commands. It makes it very much easy to add constraints in order to fetch data, update data, delete data, all the CRUD operations. We will be performing it using Prisma. So after you do this now, I will first of all delete this database for now. Let me delete this and start from scratch. So I also downloaded this pgadmin, guys. If you want to download this pgadmin, it makes it very much easy. If you want to interact with your PostgreSQL database, so just write pgadmin and you can basically download this software, and which makes it's a graphical user interface where you can actually see your data which is stored. So go to the download option and you need to download the pgadmin based upon your operating system. So now here we can basically, when you land here, we can log in and simply go into our create a database. So create database, you can call this database anything. Let's I can call that Prisma CRUD, and click on save, and you will basically see your database has been created, Prisma CRUD, and that's all that we need to do inside this. You no longer need to create any sort of table. We will all be doing it using Prisma. So now to first of all initialize Prisma, guys, it's very important that you execute this command, which is npx prisma init. So this will initialize the files. That it will automatically create some files, guys, in the left hand side, npx prisma init. Execute this command, and in the left hand side you will basically see it will create a .env file and the Prisma folder. It will give you some instructions that you need to edit your env file, .env file. So here you need to replace the username, password, and your database name. Let me replace it. The default username for PostgreSQL is PostgreS. If you haven't changed the username, the default username which comes when you install PostgreSQL in the Windows is Postgres. And I don't have any sort of password, so I will leave this empty. If you have a password, you can replace this password here. And then my database name. So in this case, the database name is Prisma CRUD. That's all. So just change this URL accordingly. And after that, this is automatically generated by Prisma. It's a schema file. Here you will actually provide your schema. Schema is nothing but what sort of values that you want to have, what columns, what sort of data that you want to store inside the database. So I will basically make a table, which table will be user table, and this table will contain 3 columns. First will be, so what I will do is that here inside model dot, sorry, there needs to be a space here, user table. So inside this we will have the first column as ID. It will be an integer, and this will be auto incremented, so that's why we will put ID, and default value will be auto incremented. That's all. So it will be a primary key of the table. So that's in this way in the Prisma you can assign these constraints. It will automatically increment it, and then we will have the name. It will have type string, age integer, and country will be, again it will be a string. That's all. So we have created our schema, guys. For this specific CRUD application, we will have 4 columns. ID will be the primary key, name, age, country. So now we just need to migrate this, need to run the migration command. So in Prisma, we have this command here, which will automatically create the migration. npx Prisma migrate and dev, which is for development purposes. It will you need to give the migration the name. Let me give it create underscore user table. It can be anything, but just make sure that you give the name accordingly. npx Prisma migrate dev. This is for development purpose. If you're building it for production, you will write production here. Then name create user table. If I execute this, now it will, you will see on the left hand side, it will create the migrations folder automatically. And if you check now, basically inside your PostgreSQL database, just refresh it. And inside this public folder, inside schemas public, you will basically find out a table has been created, which is user table. So this is the actual table we have created. If you see columns, we have ID, name, age, country. Automatically these columns have been created. So after creating this, guys, we just need to generate the client for Prisma for managing this table. So npx Prisma generate. So this will actually generate the client. All the methods will be there. You will be able to insert data, update data, delete data. So execute this. So it will be stored inside your node modules folder. If you check inside Prisma, there will be client generated automatically. So you don't need to worry about it. So just make sure you know that client is basically stored inside your Prisma folder inside node modules. That's all. So now we will actually construct our application index.js, and here we will actually require the express module, and here we will require the Prisma client, and we will be requiring it from that we install Prisma client like this, and we will instantiate a new reference of Prisma client, and then we will instantiate express app as well. It will listen on port number 3000, and in the callback function we will simply say app is listening on port 3000. So app is listening on 3000, and we will create a variable u, which will be empty array. Here we will store all the users which will be fetched from the database. And then we will need to initialize some middlewares, which will be body parser, express URL extended to false, and express.json. So these are required while we are working with forms. So to fetch those data, we require this body parser middleware. We also need to set the view engine to EJS. So view engine is EJS template engine. So simply set this line. And now we will basically make a get route. When we go to the home page, we need to render out a template here, which will be index.ejs. So index, just write this and just create a views folder, and inside this create our file index.ejs. So just I will simply call this as user CRUD management system. So just give it a heading here just to cross check if it is working. So if you start this application node1 index.js, so it will say app is listening on port 3000. If you try to open that, so hello world is printed out. So now we will actually need to make the actual interface, which will allow us to add data. So for building the interface, guys, we are actually using Tailwind CSS. So simply include the script tag for that at the very top after the title. Just paste it. and we will inside our body we will give it some tailwind classes of bg gray 100, flex justify, center item center, edge screen. And after this we will have a div tag. It will be having a class of max width, excel, width will be full, background will be white, bg white, and it will be rounded, large lg, and it will have a shadow lg and padding 8. If you just do that and refresh it, you will basically see it will write here in the middle of the screen, a shadow will be there. And inside this we will have a simple heading which will say that user management. We will basically have a class of text to Excel, font will be bold MB4. After this heading, in the we will actually show a form to the user where they can add the user. So this form will be having an action. It will be going to /add. Method here will be post, and the class will be margin bottom 8. And div we will be giving a class flex wrap mx2 mb4. So another div tag here we will have width full. Medium devices we will show half width, px2, padding from the x direction, margin bottom 4, and on the medium devices margin bottom 0. And here we will have a simple input field, input type text, name parameter name, and placeholder name, and we will give it these classes: border gray 400, border rounded medium, px, padding from the x direction, padding from the y direction 2, width will be full. So if you just refresh now, there will be an input field added right here, name here, you will see that. So let me just copy this. You will basically find all the source code, guys. The links is given in the description. So I think it should take the full space. I think I made a mistake here of adding. Just wait. Let me just copy this form here and then explain to you what is happening, because I am just weak in writing CSS. And so just refresh here and format document. So you will basically see this is the interface, name, age, country. We have 3 input fields where we can write name, age, country, and then we have a button out there, add user. So we have basically given all these same classes here. We have first input field, second one for the age, third one for the country, then we have a button. So when we try to submit the form, it will basically make a post request to actually add the data. Now we need to make that post request. So what we can do is that we can go to our index.js file and try to add the data. So for adding that data, we will actually write this request app.post/add. And here we will actually use Prisma, guys, which will interact with the table. So inside our try catch block we will write this. So now to initialize, basically get the information from the request. We can get name, age, country, what the user has submitted from the request.body header. And here we will use basically our Prisma client to actually interact with the database. So we will say await Prisma and it dot and the name of the table. So user table is initialized here. We created this table, so it is coming here. So it contains various methods. You can count, create, delete. All these methods are available for us. So now we will use the create method, and here we will actually pass the data object. So whatever data that you want to insert in the table. So first is name, age, we will convert this into number. So parse int, we will convert this age to a number and then insert it, and then country. That's all in the object. It's very easy to do this, and after that we will redirect back to the home page. So if I try to basically now, you will basically see currently if I select, just go to query tool, inside your PG admin, simply write this statement inside double quotes user table. So currently my table will be empty. If I try to execute this SQL query, you will see currently table is empty. ID is the primary key, name, age, country. And if I try to add some data here, and nothing will happen here. It will redirect back to the home page. But if you now refresh here, so you will basically see a entry has been added. So whatever information that you provided, so you can add some more records. So now if I basically see, there are 4 records out there. So now we need to basically display these records in the browser in a table like structure. So how we can do that? So again we can basically make a get request. So inside your get request here itself, we will try to fetch all the records. So we will make this request as asynchronous, and now using Prisma we will first of all try catch. So right here guys, basically inside this we will fetch all the users. We will say await Prisma dot sample table, sorry, user table, and it contains a method to find all the records. So find many, that's all. So it will return all the records. We will store these inside the u variable that we declared, all the users, and then we will render out the template. We will remove it from here, and we will pass this u variable, or sorry, users as a data to this template. So now we just need to loop through the data inside our index.ejs file. So we will actually use a for each loop for this purpose. After the form ends right here, we will actually use a for each loop. So here, just after this form, we will have a div element, and we will give it a class to it of overflow x auto, and this will be having a table w full width border collapse border gray 200. So inside this we will basically have t head. We will 3 columns will be having table headings, name, age, country, and all these will be having the same classes. So name, age, country. After this we will have a table body, And here we will actually use the EJS syntax. We will have the users array and we will use the for each loop to actually loop through all the users. So for each user we will first of all do here, we'll close the tag here. We will wrap this, write this. And inside this now we will have tr tag td and we will be displaying the variable here. So user.name. So this is EJS syntax here to display variables. Just give it the classes border gray 200 px4 py2. That's all. And same will be for td element as well. So simply give this class name as well. Just give it, sorry, tr will not have the class here, simply remove it. So this will be user.age, user.country, that's all. So this completes fetching the users. If I try to refresh here, you will basically see it will display all the records which are present in the database, PostgreSQL database. It will display fetch this. When we refresh the page from Prisma client, it will basically fetch all the records and display it using EJS. Now we also need to have two buttons right here to actually update and delete. So those buttons will be having here after this. So these buttons will be having. We will have a form here which will actually go to slash delete slash, this is user.id, so whatever is id is there. So inside this form we will actually have a button for deleting. Just give it a class to this form which will be, so here you can just say method will be get and the style will be display inline. That's all. And this button will be having some classes which is bgred 500, text will be white, px2 py1, it will be rounded on medium devices, margin right from 2. So you will see a delete button is added right here to each of the entries, and similarly we will have an update button as well. So just after this form we will just repeat this, and this will be actually a post method and it will go to slash update. Same, this will be passing the user ID, this will be update, and the basically the button will color will change, green color. So you will see update button, delete button. So now we need to basically make these requests, guys, which will actually carry out the operations using Prisma client library. Whenever we click the delete button, we need to actually make the get request. Whenever we click the update button, we need to make this post request. So just go to your index.js file. We will actually make this delete request first of all. So app.get slash delete. Here we will pass the dynamic parameter ID which will be there. Async await function will be there, and we will be writing the code inside our try catch block. If any sort of error take place, console log error. And right here we will fetch the user ID which is passed. We will convert this into a number by using parseInt request params.id. After getting the user ID which is a primary key, we will actually use Prisma dot sample table, user table, sorry, dot delete. It contains a delete method, and here we will actually pass the where clause. It's a conditional clause, guys, where we basically are deleting the entry where we are finding out the ID is equal to the past ID, which is user ID. It will delete that record, and then we will actually need to redirect it to the home page, response.redirect home page. So this where clauses are in Prisma, guys. It makes it very much easy. We don't need to write SQL statements. Instead, we can use Prisma to directly delete, update, or create records. If I refresh now, click on delete, record will be deleted. So if you refresh, only one record is there. If I try to cross check, you will see only one record is present right here in the database, and it is displaying here. And now we just need to handle the update route as well. So for handling the update route, we will also make that update post request. So we will say app.post /update ID. So inside your index.ejs file, guys, this will be a get request. So whenever we go to this route, we first of all need to make the get request. So yeah, so the form method will be get. So just refresh here. So inside your index.js file, we will basically make our get request app.get /update. We will basically pass the ID as a query parameter. It will be a async function, request response, try catch block. And inside this, we will fetch the user ID by again converting this into a integer and request.params.id. And then we will find out the user which needs to be updated by using prisma.usertable.findUnique. We will use this method to actually find the record that is requested. And again here we will pass the where clause where ID is equal to the past ID, user ID. And then we will re-render the template of index, and here we will pass our three variables. First is the user which needs to be updated. The second is the list of users which we stored inside earlier inside this variable u is equal to users to display all the users in the table. And third property is a boolean parameter which makes it easy to see if the update process is true. We will set it to true, and when we load the page we will set this property to false, update false. So just make these changes, and now we just need to go to our index template here, and if you just refresh, you will basically get an error. Update will be false by default, but we can basically add a condition here. If I click the update button, you will see users is not defined. So for this we just need to users is equal to you. So just make this change, refresh, and you will basically see nothing will be there. So for this we just need to make this property inside our index.ejs. Right here we will actually add a if condition. Just inside this, after the heading, we will have a if condition. If update property is set to true, then in that case we need to show a different form. So we will also have a else block as well, like this. So basically it is saying that if the update property is true, in that case we'll copy this form here and paste it in the if block like there. In the else block we will actually show this form if the update property is not true, and we will end this like this. So that's all. So we are conditionally based upon a condition, we are showing different forms. This will be update user, and here the action will go to slash update, slash update slash question mark is equal to user.id, and then inside this we will give it a value parameter as well to pre-populate the values, which is user.name. So we will repeat this for age, repeat this for country as well. So if you refresh now, it is saying could not find matching close tag for this. Which line number? Let me see. Okay, sorry, here we need to close it. That was the error. So you will basically see the it is populating here. You will basically see as I click this, but the details are not showing here. The list of users. Let me see what is the problem here. Users property is passed here, and inside our index.js let me see inside our users is equal to u. If I console log u here, let me delete this and now add some more here. So one entry is present, second entry is present. If I click update, now you can see that. So as I click the update option, the populate, we can now change the name here to anything. Click on update user, and now we just need to make this post request to actually carry out the updation process. Go to index.js and write this post request slash update slash id, which is passed. So try catch block will be there. And here once again guys, we will updation process is very simple. We will fetch all the details the user has written. First of all, we will convert the user ID, which is passed here, to a number by using parseInt, and then we will extract the details the user has entered, name, age, country, from the request body header, and then Prisma dot user table dot update. There is update method available inside Prisma to actually where clause is there for which record the ID is equal to user ID. And here the second property is you need to provide the data, updated data. So this data will be the updated name, age. You need to convert this into a number. So parseInt and convert this to age, country. That's all. So Prisma makes it very much easy, guys, to carry out these operations and then redirect to the home page. So if I click on update, change this name, and now you can see the name is changed right here. You can delete, we can add user, all such of things we can perform, guys. This is a user CRUD we have developed using Prisma and PostgreSQL database inside Node.js Express and EJS template engine. And if you need the full source code, you can go to the description and purchase the full source code from PayPal or Stripe in USD or Indian rupees. And thank you very much for watching this video. And if you like it, please hit that like button, subscribe the channel, and I will be seeing you in the next live stream.